Join me today while I show how I make worm casting compost tea. You need to first start with fresh, rich worm castings or compost from your garden. Today I wanted to talk about making worm casting compost tea. I'm making a batch, so I thought I would explain the process for those interested. So you're first going to need a 5-gallon bucket. So I've got a 5-gallon bucket. You're going to need to have access to non-chlorinated water. So on my outdoor hose, I actually have an RV filter that filters out chlorine. So I'm using that. You'll also need a way to cause like bubbles or to oxygenate the water. So what I use, because I had them on hand, I have 2 different, a battery and a powered bubbler. So these are bubblers that you can just buy for your fish tanks. I had them for when I rehabbed otters. I had to keep live fish fresh until it was ready to be eaten by the otter. They basically just need to weight them down so they can be weighted to the bottom of the bucket. You're going to need to have some sort of compost. I actually am using worm compost. So these are worm castings. This is the last of my batch. I'm going to be here in the next few weeks getting some more from my worm bin. I'll do a video on my worm bin as well here in the future. But so you'll need worm castings, or you can have a different source from your compost. You can just use compost if that's all you've got. So basically, the last thing you'll need is some sort of food source. They usually recommend unsulphured organic molasses. You'll use approximately, I think it's about a 1/4 cup or a couple tablespoons. And you'll add that into the water. So I've got my compost, my worm castings in like a mesh. So anything that is fine enough, like cheesecloth or something that you don't want the compost to come out. But as you can see, you can actually see the brown goodness coming out of it. So I just have some string tied around this. I will anchor it to the side here. And then basically you're just going to let it go. You're going to want to keep it, it's pretty warm here, so I'm going to try to keep it shaded a little bit during the hottest times. But you're going to let it go to be about approximately go 24 to 48, usually 36 hours is usually best, between 24 and 36. I had a problem where I wasn't timing it correctly, and I would get it done and it would be later at night when it was done. So I'm trying to time it better so I can actually use the compost tea. So that's the other thing I want to talk about. You actually want to use the compost tea as soon as you make it. So use it within an hour or so of when it's finished bubbling, because all of that good bacteria and everything that you worked for will die off if you store it. It's not something that can be stored. When complete, you can use the tea as a foliar spray or empty the contents of the tea bag into the compost tea and then add a cup or 2 to each plant. I thought I would share with everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I'm sending love to everybody. Take care.